Hi, it's Dr. Farmer again. Let's talk a little bit about the structures of the personality according to Freud and the term he called intrapsychic conflict. Now, Freud identified three parts of the personality. The first part that he identified was called the id. The id is governed by what he called the pleasure principle. This simply means that whatever the id wants to do to meet its biological needs, it does that. It seeks to meet any pleasure that it feels necessary. Freud considered the id to be primitive and driven by the libido. Remember, the libido is primarily a sexual drive, and so therefore he felt that most of your drives and your behaviors are driven by some sexual nature underneath it. The second part of the personality, Freud called the ego. The ego is governed by the reality principle. The reality principle says that though you have something that you want to do or obtain, you take that need and you look at the environment or the reality of the world that you live in, and you figure out a plan to meet that need. For example, if you're hungry and you're sitting in class, you can either look at the person next to you and grab their chips that are sitting on the desk and start eating them, or you can say, I get out of class in 10 minutes, I can wait till that long, and I'll go and get my favorite lunch. You take the drive that's within and you match it with the reality of the world and you meet the need. If you were driven by your id, you would simply grab the chips that are next to you that belong to your classmate and eat them without asking, simply meeting your own primal pleasures. The third part of the personality is called the superego. The superego is driven by your ideals, your guilt, the laws and expectations of the world. This is your internal voice of restrictions, the rules that you follow. You know that a person is driven by their superego when they follow rules all the time. And sometimes, as an old adage says, rules are meant to be broken. Well, not for a person with a superego who's driven by their superego. Now, Freud said, so we have these three parts of the personality, the id, ego, and superego, and he says that they fight constantly for supremacy in your psyche. And you can tell which one wins that intrapsychic conflict based on the way that a person behaves. For example, if a person constantly follows rules, and forces others around them to follow the rules as well, they're said to be governed by the superego, and you would think that their superego is the stronger of their three parts of the personality, and therefore won the intrapsychic conflict. If a person constantly goes about meeting their needs, not caring about the feelings of others, or the laws that govern us, or the consequences of their behavior, they may be said to be governed by their id. And then finally, if a person meets their needs based on what's available in the environment, that person is likely to be said to be governed by their ego. That's a summary of the structures of the personality and the way that they fight or have intrapsychic conflict to meet your needs.